Hi everybody, welcome to the Runderwear Pilates session. So my name is Kate Cadbury and I'm a chartered physiotherapist and Pilates instructor based in Poole. So this session is going to be introducing you to the idea of Pilates and what it's all about and how it can help you with your running and with your training leading up to the Runderwear Festival of Running. So this is going to be a good opportunity for you to just take a bit of a check of your body, feeling for any areas of stiffness, any areas of weakness, any areas of pain. And we're going to use this session to establish a baseline of where you're at with your bodies and just target areas that you know that you need to work on just to get the maximum benefit out of your training so we can work towards smashing those goals for the Runderwear Festival of Running. If you have done any Pilates before, it's always good to refresh over the basic principles of Pilates so that you can get the maximum benefit out of these sessions. So firstly, just to cover about what Pilates entails. So Pilates basically is about working your core muscles. We focus on the lower abdominal muscles predominantly, and they are thought to work in combination with your spinal muscles and with your pelvic floor. And they almost create this natural corset around your spine, which is going to help support your spinal area, it's going to help support your hip and your pelvis, but also there's lots of evidence to suggest that the stronger you are around your middle, then the more support you have got for your peripheral joints such as your knees and your ankles. So I like to think of this area as my little powerhouse, and I use Pilates as a massive part for my training and my duathlon training and specifically for my running. So the stronger this is, then the less pressure you're putting through your joints, the more biomechanically efficient you're going to be, and ultimately the more power you're going to be able to produce. So if you can try and get this area strong, then hopefully you will feel that your running training will become more succinct and you'll start to get better times with your training sessions. So we're going to find the muscles that we want to work in Pilates to start with. So if you can just come onto your mats, and we want to think about coming into our neutral position first of all. So we're going to stand with our feet hip distance apart, and just a little tip to find that is to pop the heel in the arch of one foot and just twist the foot around. That's about hip distance apart. You're going to gently rock forwards and backwards onto your toes and your heels. So just loosen off through those ankle joints, just get your bearings on the mat to start with. And then when you're ready, you're going to settle in the centre. Just make sure you've got equal pressure through both of your feet. And then we want to think about distributing our weight between the base of the big toes, the little toes and the heels. Imagine you've got little pins in the arches of your feet now, and you're going to gently lift those arches away from those pins. So just get a little bit of activity through those foot muscles. Taking your focus up to your knees now, just keeping those knees just softly bent. So just a soft knee bend. We're going to pop our hands on our hips and we want to get our pelvis in our nice neutral position. So if you can just tilt your pelvis forward, so you're going to stick your bottoms out, I'll show you side on, and then you're going to tuck your bottoms underneath you. Just do that a few times, just loosen off through that low back and pelvic area. Take note of how that back is feeling, any stiffness in one direction or the other. And then when you're ready, you're going to rest halfway between those two positions, okay? So that's what we call our pelvic neutral position, where we're feeling like we're tucking the tailbone slightly underneath us. And as we do that, we should feel that we get a little bit of activation through these bottom muscles and also start to draw in through those lower tummy muscles. So we're going to find the muscles that we want to work in Pilates predominantly. So if you can find your bony bits at the front of your hips, you're going to come in an inch and down an inch. So that's where the lower tummy muscles sit. Those are more our postural and our stability muscles that we want to be thinking about in our sports as well. So just thinking about gently tensing underneath your fingertips there. Just taking note of whether you can feel any tension as you're thinking about gently drawing that tummy muscle away from those fingers. Remember, this muscle also works in combination with your pelvic floor, so if you think about drawing up and in through the pelvic floor, you should get a little bit more tension in through those lower tummy muscles. We'll find those tummy muscles when we come down onto our mat as well, so don't worry if you're not quite feeling that contraction. As you get more into the sync of Pilates, you will get a little bit more feedback of what's going on. So keeping the arms relaxed down by your sides, just keep those shoulders sliding down your back. And imagine you've got a big helium balloon and it's lifting the top of your head up towards the ceiling, so you're feeling nice and relaxed through the top of the shoulders and into the neck. So we're going to start off with some stretches in standing first of all. So we're going to take a breath in. Think about gently drawing in through that tummy muscle. As you breathe out, reach both arms up to the ceiling. You're going to follow the movement with your head and your eyes. Then you're going to reach up with the right hands if you're trying to touch the ceiling, and release and change. Excellent. Just feel that good stretch as you reach away. With the Pilates, there is a technique to the breathing, but if you haven't done much Pilates before, don't worry about the breathing. As long as you're not holding your breath, that's the most important thing. But if you want to join in, then I would talk you through the breathing and join as you feel able to. Okay, we're just going to do one more on each side. Excellent. And then from there, we're going to settle in the centre. You're going to lower the left arm down by your side and stretch over to the left. Take a big breath in here to feel that good stretch. And breathe out and release. And then swap sides, stretching over. Take a nice deep breath in and release. We'll do just one more in each direction. Big breath in as you reach away. And breathe out and release. And then last one, stretching over. Big breath in. And breathe out and release. Excellent. We're going to bring our arms in front of us now. So just making a light fist. You're going to rotate round to the left, come back to the centre and swap sides. So feeling that good rotation through the spine, just taking note of how you feel. Do you feel stiff in one direction or the other? Well done. Keep it going. And just one more on each side for me. Excellent. We're going to come back to the centre and release the arms down. From here, we're going to come up onto our toes, reaching the arms up and lower back down. So here we're starting to warm up through the calf muscles, and calf muscles are really important for running. They will help you spring through those toes. They absorb the shock as you land onto your foot. Excellent. So here with the knees straight, we're working the big powerful muscle called the gastrocnemius, which is the big one that will define the calf. Excellent. We're going to go for another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. From here we're going to bend our knees and then you're going to lift and lower from here. So when we've got our knees bent, we're working a deeper muscle called the soleus, and that is the one that absorbs the shock and also controls the movement of your shin bone, okay, so your tibia. So if you have had any history of shin splints, then sometimes if you've got weakness through this calf muscle, then that can contribute to that. So getting these muscles as strong is really important for your running, to help absorb the shock, to control the rotation of the shin bone, and also to push you up onto your toes to get that good spring in your step as you're running. Excellent. Let's go for another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. From here we're going to come and stand on our left leg. So when we stand on one leg, we want to think about our good alignment. So keeping the knee in line with the foot, keep that good knee bend and try and keep the foot nice and relaxed on the mat. We're going to go into our running man. So we're going to bring the right knee up with the left arm and then swap, okay? So swapping your arms as you take that leg back behind you. So just a slow motion running action. What we want to think about is the stability on the left leg. So when we think about running, it's a series of hopping from one leg to the other. You really want to think about that good control as you're on one leg, and we want to use the glutes to create that stability. So the bottom muscles will help that stability when we're on one leg. Often what can happen is if our bottom muscles are a little bit weaker, is the knee will tend to drop in, okay? And that can contribute to lots of lower limb problems, so knee pain, ankle pain. So just trying to think about using those bottom muscles to keep that knee in line with the foot. Excellent. Keep it going. Let's go a little bit quicker now, so get a bit of pace into your running. Well done. Gently think about drawing in through that lower tummy muscle if you can. Excellent. We're going to go for another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Releasing from there, we're going to swap sides. So if you can come onto your right leg this time, remember a good knee bend and keep the knee in line with the foot. When you're ready, you're going to bring the left knee, right arm forwards, swap your arms as you take that leg back. Excellent. Remember, we're focusing on that alignment of the right knee. We're using the bottom muscles to keep that good stability. And if you compare one side to the other here, do you feel a bit more wobbly on one side? Have you got any weakness through those glutes? And that could be an area that you might want to focus on over the coming weeks in your training. Excellent. Well done. Keep it going. Okay, a little bit quicker. Keeping that good stability though. Excellent. We're going to go for another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Releasing from there. From there, we're going to finish off with our split squats. If you're not comfortable with split squats, you can swap these for a double leg squat, so into your squat position. Otherwise, if you can step forwards with the left leg and backwards with the right leg. We're going to have both feet pointing forwards. Okay, we're going to take a breath in. As we breathe out, we're going to come into our knee bend and then breathe in, push back up again. Breathing out, coming down, breathing in, coming back up again. So what I want you to think about here is the good alignment of that front leg again. So we're using the bottom muscles to keep that good alignment. As we go down, we should just be able to see our big toe. Okay, then we know that the bottom muscles are doing their work to keep that knee in that good position. So really thinking about that good alignment as you're going down, driving up through those legs. Excellent. Remember, you can swap these for a double leg squat if you don't want to do the split squat, but we're going to stick here for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. We're going to swap sides, see if you can step forwards with the right leg, backwards with the left. You need a good distance between those legs. And then when you're ready, take a big breath in. As you breathe out, go down into your knee bend, breathe in, come back up again. Excellent. Check that alignment of the front leg. So as you go down, can you just see your big toe? Excellent. Using those bottom muscles. Gently think about drawing in through that tummy muscle. So we're keeping that good control from our centre. Well done. The important thing here is having that good gap between the legs. If you haven't got enough of a gap, you tend to overload through the front of the knee. Excellent. Well done. We're nearly there. Let's go for another 4. And 3, 2, and 1. Good. Releasing from there. Let's give the arms and legs a good shake out. We're going to come and stand at the end of our mats now. We're going to go into an exercise called the roll down, which is just working through our spinal mobility. So feet are going to be underneath your hips. You're going to take a breath in. As you breathe out, come up onto your toes, reach the arms up and away and take a big breath in there. And then breathing out, lower the heels and the arms. You're going to tuck the chin down and slowly release through the spine. Think about releasing through the neck, through the top part of your back, through the mid part, through the low part, through the pelvis. Go to where you feel you can. Keep those knees nice and soft and take a big breath in at the bottom. As you breathe out, tuck the tailbone underneath you. Keep the chin down on your chest and slowly think about putting the weight through the spine, just one vertebrae at a time. And then lastly, just coming up with your head and neck. Okay, you're going to go again. So up onto your toes, reach up and away and take a big breath in. And then as you breathe out, lower the heels and the arms, tuck that chin down. Think about releasing through the spine, gently drawing in through the tummy. So you're controlling this movement. Keep those knees nice and soft. Go to where you can, take a big breath in. As you breathe out here, we're going to bend our knees. We're going to come and lower ourselves down onto our mats. Okay, so if you have got a little head support, you can use just a small towel just to support your head, or a small cushion. Otherwise, if you feel comfortable, you can just lie down on your mat in your neutral position. So what we want to think about in our lying position is having our feet so they are hip distance apart. So they're in line with your knees, your hips and your shoulders, and your head's going down through the centre of those. We want to get our pelvis neutral in this position now. So like we did in standing, if you can stick your bottom out, so create a little gap in between the low back and the mat, and then go the other way, so tuck your bottom underneath you. Just do that a few times again just to get used to that movement. So arching your back, and then flatten your back. And then when you're ready, just rest halfway between those two positions, and you should just be able to get your hand in between the low back and the mat there so that you know you're in that nice neutral position. Okay, so if we just pop our arms down by our sides, we're going to stay nice and relaxed through the shoulders. So just let the shoulders sink down onto the mat and slide your shoulder blades down your back towards your hips. And then lastly, just a little chin tuck down towards your chest just to lengthen at the back of the neck. We're going to start off with an exercise called scissors. You've got to pick the level that you feel comfortable with, and please don't push into any pain or discomfort. If you haven't done much Pilates before, I'd stick with the lower levels and then you can always build up from there. So we're going to come into what we call single tabletop with our right leg. So this is if our leg is resting on a table, the knee is in line with the hip and the shin is parallel to the ceiling. You can stick with single tabletop, or if you feel happy, you're going to lower the ribs down into the tummy, tense the upper tummy muscles a little bit more as you slowly bring the left leg up to come into your double tabletop position. Okay, so when we're ready, we're going to take a breath in. As we breathe out, we're going to slowly dip the right toes down and then breathe in, come back up again. If you've got both legs lifted, if you can alternate sides, so you're going to swap onto your left side from there. Otherwise, if you're just working in single tabletop, if you can just focus on your right side, dipping down and back up again. So you can use your fingers for a little bit of feedback on those tummy muscles. So just pop your fingertips on that low tummy muscle. Think about gently drawing in through that tummy muscle as you're dipping down and coming back up again. Excellent. So nice and slow and controlled. Breathing out to dip down and in to come back in again. So a lot of the Pilates work that we do is slow because we're working on our slow twitch postural muscles. They're our endurance muscles. Those are the ones that they're going to create that good stability through the centre, and the stronger that area is, then the less the rest of the body is going to have to work. Excellent. Well done. Nice and slow and controlled. If you've got just your right leg lifted, if you can swap onto your left leg for me now. So going into single tabletop with your left leg, double tabletop is keep going. Taking note of how you feel. So often what we tend to see in runners is we get overactivity with these hip muscles, so the muscles at the front of the hip flexors. So really think about trying to draw in through those tummy muscles, allowing those hip flexors just to switch off. Keep it going. Well done. So if you're in double tabletop, if you can just do one more on each side, and single tabletop is just two more on your left side. Well done. And then when you've done those, if you're in double tabletop, you always lower one leg down at a time to come back onto the mat from there. Good. Okay, from there we're going to go into one leg stretch. So we're going to bring our right leg into our single tabletop. Again, you can stick with that, or if you feel happy, lower the ribs down into the tummy, tense the upper tummy muscles that little bit more as you slowly bring your left leg up. As you do that, there should be no movement between that low back and the pelvis. So when we're ready, we're going to take a breath in. As you breathe out, we're going to slowly stretch the right leg away. Breathe in, come back in again. Swap sides if you've got both legs lifted. Otherwise, just sticking with your right leg. Excellent. So breathing out to go out. Breathing in to come back in again. Well done. Really think about that contraction through that lower tummy muscle. Again, you can pop your fingertips on those muscles just to feel that they're doing the work for you. Excellent. Well done. Keep it going. So just go within the range that you feel comfortable. There should be no movement between the low back and the pelvis as you're stretching that leg away. If you're in single tabletop, if you can swap onto your left side for me now. Excellent. Well done. And double tabletop is, if you want to make this a little bit harder to finish off, you're going to speed up the movement. So just crossing through the movement. Excellent. Keep it going. Keep that good contraction through that lower tummy. And we're all going to keep going for another 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then bring those knees up to your chest. Give those knees a good hug and just gently rock from side to side. Excellent. Okay, we're going to pop our feet down onto the mat and we're going to go into our bridge. So we're going to walk our heels up towards our bottom. That means we're going to focus a little bit more on our glutes. So we'll start off just with some bridges, just working on the mobility of the spine, and then we'll start adding in some leg movement from there. So arms relaxed down by your sides. You're going to take a big breath in. As you breathe out, rock the pelvis back. So you're going to push the small of your back into the mat, squeeze through those bottom muscles and push through the feet to slowly peel the spine up off the mat, just one level at a time. Coming up onto your shoulders, take a big breath in, and then as you breathe out, just slowly lower back down again, just placing one vertebrae down at a time. all the way down, and then the last thing to untuck is the pelvis. So we're going to do that again. If you want to make it a little bit harder, you can cross your arms across your chest. So curling that pelvis back, peeling the spine up as you push through the feet and squeeze through the bottom muscles. Big breath in at the top, and then breathing out, slowly lower back down again, just placing one vertebrae down at a time, and then lastly, just untucking through the pelvis. Okay, so you can stick with this, so if you want to make it a little bit harder, we're going to curl up into our bridge, and then from there, we're going to stretch the right leg away, okay? You're going to stay lifted here, you're going to lower halfway down towards the mat, and then drive back up again. So lower the pelvis halfway down, and drive back up. Excellent. Well done. You can do this with your arms down by your sides, or you can keep your arms crossed across your chest. If this feels too much, you can do it with both feet down on the mat and just lift and lower from there. Excellent. Good. Squeeze into those bottom muscles. We're going to stick with this side for another 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Swap sides if you've got one leg lifted, so stretching that left leg away, lower halfway down and drive back up again. Keep that pelvis nice and level. If you compare one side to the other, does one side feel a bit harder here? And that will just highlight any difference in the strength in your bottom muscles. So again, an area that you might want to be focusing on in your training. Excellent. Keep it going. And we're going to go for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Pop that foot down, slowly lower back down again, and then lastly, just untucking through the pelvis and pop your arms down by your sides. Walk your feet a little bit further away from your bottom here. We're going to reset our pelvis position. So rock the pelvis backwards, rock the pelvis forwards, and then rest halfway between those two positions. And remember, you should just be able to get your hand in that little gap in between the low back and the mat. So we're going to come into our tabletop position again. So you can choose your single tabletop. If you feel happy, tense the tummy muscles as you lower the ribs down into the tummy and slowly bring your left leg up to come into your double tabletop position. Okay, if you're in double tabletop, you're going to glue your feet and knees together. We're going to lift both arms up to the ceiling with the palms facing in towards the body. And we're going to take a breath in. As you breathe out, we're going to stretch both legs, both arms away from us, and then breathe in, come back in again. So you can do this in your single tabletop with one leg, both arms, or you can do it in your double tabletop, both legs, both arms. The important thing here is that little gap in between the low back and the mat is not getting any bigger. So as we're stretching those legs away, we're keeping that good neutral position through the low back and the pelvis. If you feel you have got any movement there, take the legs just a little bit higher up the wall, okay? Or if that feels too much, you can stay in tabletop and just do the arm movement in your double or your single tabletop position. Excellent. Well done, guys. Okay, if you're in single tabletop, if you can swap sides for me now. Double tabletoppers, keep going. Breathing out to go out of position, breathing in to come back in. Well done. Remember, try and slow it down if you can. It will make it a little bit harder, but you're going to get more out of that workout if you do slow it down. Okay, let's go for another 4. And 3. Last 2. And last 1. Excellent. Just bring those knees into your chest and hug them up and just gently rock from side to side. Good. So when you're ready, pop one foot down at a time. We're going to come onto our sides now. So in side lying, if you have got a towel or a little cushion, if you can just pop that in between your head and your arms. So you've got some good neck support. The underneath arm can come out straight or can be tucked up behind your head, whichever's more comfortable. So we want to get ourselves in our nice neutral position in side lying now. So want to have your knees bent up, your heels in line with your bottom, your shoulder and your head. So imagine you're lining yourself up with the back of your mat. So you've got a nice straight line going all the way from your heels up to your head. We want to get our pelvis in that neutral position again. So just pop your hand on your top hip and I want you to tilt the top hip down towards your heels. So you're creating a little gap in between the low waist and the mat. Okay, so we're taking our hip and we're tilting it down towards our heels to create that little gap. As we do that, think about relaxing the ribs into the tummy and keep this top shoulder sliding down as well. So we're going to start off with an exercise called the Clam to start working through our bottom muscles in this position. So when you're ready, you're going to take a breath in, draw in through that lower tummy muscle, and then as you breathe out, lift the top knee up and then breathe in and lower. So breathing out to lift and breathe in to lower. So what we're working with these side lying exercises is a muscle predominantly called the glute med. That sits round the top of the pelvis, and that's the one that provides the stability. So the stability when we're standing on one leg and the stability when we're running. Thinking about that running being a series of one leg hops, hopping from one leg to the other. So we really want to get these glutes nice and strong. Excellent. And we're going to do a specific glute session for you guys, so keep an eye out on that coming over the next few weeks as well. Well done. So you could pop your hand on your bottom muscle, feel that it's contracting as you're lifting and lowering. Excellent. What we often see with runners is we're quite dominant through the front of the hip, so through our hip flexor muscles, and these can take over the work of the bottom muscles. So if you're feeling that now, you can make a couple of little changes. So you can tilt the top hip forward slightly and lift and lower from there. And also as you lift up, just really thinking about digging those heels in, and that heel dig will get those glutes firing up that little bit more. Excellent. Keep it going. We're going to go for another 5 and 4, 3, 2 and 1. Good. We're going to add in some leg extension into that movement if you want to, otherwise you can stick with your lift and lower. Otherwise, when you're ready, you're going to take a breath in. As you breathe out, you're going to open the clam up, stretch the leg away, pop the foot down and close back down. So opening up and stretch, pop the foot down and close. Again, if you're feeling you're a bit more dominant through the front of the hip, as you take that leg away from you, thinking about taking it a little bit further back behind you. Again, that will get those glutes firing up that little bit more. Tell those hip flexors to switch off. Excellent. Well done. So you should be starting to feel those bottom muscles kicking in a bit now. And we're going to go for another 3 and 2. On your last one, if you can stay lifted for me, so staying lifted here, and we're just going to do little pulses. We're going to pulse for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pop the foot down and release and lower. Good. Give that muscle a little tap or a little rub. And then from there, we're going to go into our bent leg lift. So exactly the same position with your legs. You're going to take a breath in. As you breathe out, lift the whole leg up and breathe in and lower. So breathing out to lift, breathe in to lower. So as we lift up, we're keeping this top waist lengthened. We're keeping that little gap in between the low waist and the mat. And you're focusing on these bottom muscles squeezing. Again, take the leg backwards slightly if you need to get those glutes kicking in that little bit more. Excellent. Well done. So we're going to go for another 4, 3, 2 and 1. And from there we're going to add in that leg extension, or you can stick with just your lift and lower. Otherwise, when you feel ready, you're going to lift up into your bent leg lift, stretch the leg away, bend the leg and lower back down. So lift and lengthen, bend and lower. Again, with that lengthening away, taking the leg backwards slightly just to get those glutes firing up that little bit more. Excellent. Well done. And we're going to go for another 4, 3, 2, and stay lifted on your last one for me. Staying lifted here, guys. Keep that leg backwards slightly to get those glutes going and pulsing. We're going to pulse for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and bending the leg, lowering down, tapping through that muscle, or give it a good rub, just allowing it to release off. Excellent. Good. Okay, from there we're going to go into top leg cycling just to finish off on this side. So we're going to pop our hand on our pelvis here so we know that's staying nice and steady. We're going to lift the leg to hip height. When you're ready, bring the knee up towards you and push the leg away. Excellent. So really pushing down strong with that leg if you can. The important thing here is that it's just the hip and the knee moving. Everything else is staying nice and steady. So we're drawing in through that lower tummy muscle, keeping that good stability through the pelvis. And if you think of this as a running action, that's exactly what we want to be thinking about. So we want to be thinking about staying strong through our middle. The hip and the knee are doing the work for us. The glutes are controlling that stability through this leg. Excellent. Keep it going. We're going to stay in this direction for 3, 2, and 1, and then change direction for me. Well done. Pushing through that leg. Keep that pelvis nice and steady. Just allow the movement to come from the hip and the knee. We're nearly there on this side, guys. Let's go for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Releasing down from there. Let that muscle release off for you. Excellent. So when you're ready, we're going to pop onto the other side and we're going to compare one side to the other. So we're just going to find our nice neutral position first of all. Just make sure you've got that good head support, so tucking the towel or the cushion in there, and then the underneath arm can be out straight or tucked up behind your head. We're lining ourselves up with the back of the mat, so we're having our knees bent up, our heels in line with our bottom, and the rest of us in a nice straight line. Tilt the top hip down towards your heels to create that little gap in between the waist and the mat. Keep your ribs relaxed into your tummy and keep this top shoulder sliding down. So we started off with our clam. So when you're ready, you're going to take a breath in. As you breathe out, lift the top knee up and then breathe in and lower. Remember, you can use your hand for a little bit of feedback. So just popping it where your top pocket would be. That's the muscles that should be working under the hand there. So remember those little changes. If you feel a bit more dominant through the front of the hip, you can tilt the top hip forward slightly and you can dig those heels in as you're opening and closing just to get those glutes firing up that little bit more. Excellent. Well done. So if you compare one side to the other, can you lift this leg as high? Does it feel a bit heavier to lift up? Excellent. Again, just establishing that little baseline on areas that you could focus on over the coming weeks. And it's going to make you stronger with those times. Excellent. Well done. So we're going to go for 3, 2, and 1. From there, we're going to add in some leg extensions. So you're going to open the knee up, stretch the leg away, pop the foot down and close. So opening up and stretching, pop the foot down and close. Remember, you can take that backwards direction with your stretch, so you get those glutes firing up that little bit more. Well done. Nearly there. Let's go for another 3. And 2. We're going to stay lifted on our last one if you can, or have a little break if you need to. Otherwise, we're going to be pulsing for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pop the foot down, close down from there, giving the muscle a little tap or a little rub just to allow it to release off. Excellent. From there, we're going to go into our bent leg lift. So exactly the same position. We're going to take a breath in. As we breathe out, lift the whole leg up and then breathe in and lower. Breathe out to lift, breathe in to lower. Keeping that little gap in between the low waist and the mat, so that stays exactly the same. This top waist stays nicely lengthened as you're lifting and lowering, and remember you can take the leg backwards slightly to get those glutes firing up that little bit more. Let's stick with this for 3, 2, and 1. We're going to add in some leg extension into that movement if you can. So when you're ready, lifting up, stretching away, bend and lower. So lift and lengthen, bend and lower. Remember, as you lengthen, you can take that leg backwards slightly to get those glutes firing up that little bit more. You can stick with just the bent leg lift if those bottom muscles are on fire already. Otherwise, just keep going. We're nearly done on this side. And last 3, 2, and then stay lifted on your last one. So staying lifted here and little pulses up and down for me. We're going to pulse for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bend and lower and releasing off from there. Excellent. So last exercise on this side was our cycling. So pop your hand on your pelvis so we know that's staying nice and steady. We're going to lift the leg to hip height. You're going to bring the knee up and push the leg away. Excellent. Well done. So remember, this is just the hip and the knee doing the work. You're drawing in gently through that lower tummy muscle to keep that good stability through the centre. Keep the shoulders nice and relaxed for me. Excellent. Should be feeling it through those bottom muscles now. Keep it going. We're nearly done now on this side. So let's stick in this direction for 3, 2, and 1, and then pedaling backwards for me. Excellent. Keep it going. And we're going to go for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Releasing from there. Just give that muscle a good rub. Just let it release off. Excellent. Well done, guys. We're going to finish off with the plank. And those of you that do my classes normally will know that I love a plank. But the plank's a great exercise just for building up that endurance. The important thing is just to start off gentle and gradually build up as you feel able to. So if you can just come up onto your elbows. You want to think about having your feet in line with your knees, your hips and your shoulders. You're going to tuck the tailbone just slightly underneath you and keep the shoulders sliding down your back and the back of the neck nice and long. So with your plank, you can pick your level. So either just lifting the front of the thighs and pelvis up off the mat, that might be enough for you. Or if you feel happy, you're going to come into your full plank position where you're coming up onto your toes. So finding your position that you feel comfortable, thinking about trying to keep the bottom in line with the spine, and the back of the neck nice and long. So we stay looking down at our hands in front of us if you can. Keep those shoulders sliding down. So with your plank, you can just do a little lift and a lower back down. Okay, or you can lift and hold. The important thing is you should never feel this through the spine, as it means those tummy muscles have switched off. So if you do feel those spinal muscles just switch on, just give yourself a little break, just reset and then start again. Excellent. Keep it going, guys. So shoulders sliding down, back of the neck nice and long. Well done. Take a little break at any point. You're in control of this, and remember, it's just about gradually building yourself up. Well done. Okay, we're going to stick with this for another 10, and then we're going to start adding in a little bit of leg movement. And staying here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. From here, lifting the right leg up to the ceiling, and then swap sides. Okay, so you can do this on your knees, stretching one leg away, or on your toes. Excellent. Okay, sticking with this for another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. This time stepping out to the side with the right, back to the centre, and swap sides. Again, you can do that on your knees, just tapping the toe out to the side, or you can stay up on your toes. Excellent. I'm going to stick with this for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Resting in the centre now and doing little gentle rocking forwards and backwards. Again, you can do that on your knees. Just make sure it's a small movement so you keep that good spinal position. Excellent. Okay, we're nearly done, guys. We've just got 10 seconds to go and then we finished off. Last 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Excellent. Well done, guys. We're going to finish off with a little stretch session. So if you're comfortable, if you can come down onto your tummy, pop your hands underneath your shoulders. You're going to imagine you've got a little marble in front of your nose, and you're going to roll the marble forwards with the nose, come up onto your forearms. You can stick with that, or if you feel comfortable, just fully extending the arms to come into your full cobra stretch. Take some deep breaths down into the tummy, keep those shoulders nice and relaxed. Excellent. One more big breath in. And then as you breathe out, we're going to bend the arms, slowly lower ourselves back down onto the mat and just tuck that marble back underneath your nose again. We're going to come into the shell stretch from here, so sitting up onto your knees and just sit back through the heels. You're going to reach the arms forwards, trying to get the forearms flat, just opening those knees up a little bit, just to get that good stretch into the hips. And just walk those arms forwards as far as you can, taking some nice deep breath in. So really think about expanding the rib cage out as you breathe in, and let the rib cage lower down as you breathe out. Excellent. One more big breath in. Well done. And then as you breathe out, if you can come onto your back for me, and we're just going to finish off with some glutes stretches and stretches through our hamstrings. So just supporting your head onto your towel, you're going to pop your right foot onto your left knee. You can just push the right knee away from you, that might be enough. Or if you feel comfortable, if you can hold around the back of the left leg and draw that left knee up towards you. Excellent. So taking some nice deep breaths in, just feeling for any tightness in through the right hip and the glutes. And again, just an area that you might want to work on, just working on any flexibility or mobility areas. Excellent. Well done. So big breath in, just push that knee away from you that little bit more, and if you're holding around the back of that left leg, just draw that knee up towards you that little bit extra. And then breathing out and releasing. Okay, we're going to swap sides, so pop that left foot onto the right knee. You can push that left knee away, you can hold between your legs and hold around the back of the right leg and draw that knee up towards you. So if you compare one side to the other, have you got as much mobility, or is one side a little bit tighter? Good. Excellent. And big breath in, just push that knee away from you that little bit more and draw that right knee up towards your chest that little bit extra. Well done. And just releasing from there. We're going to come into our hamstring stretch now, so hold around the back of the right leg, stretch the leg up to the ceiling from there, and then you can just pulse the foot up and down. So that's a nice exercise just to work through the mobility of the hamstring, but also just mobilise through the sciatic nerve. If you do get any sciatica, just make sure you're just knocking on the door of that stretch rather than pushing heavily into it. Otherwise, if this is more muscle tightness, try and get that knee as straight as you can. So really working on that hamstring flexibility. Excellent. Well done. And just releasing that stretch, lower that leg down onto the mat, hold around the back of the left leg now, stretch the leg up to the ceiling, and then just gently pulse the foot up and down from there. Again, comparing one side to the other. Are they both tight, these hamstrings, which is quite common in sports people anyway, but an area that you might want to work on, just trying to get that flexibility. Excellent. And just keeping that foot still and just releasing from there. Well done. From there, we're going to come up into high kneeling. So if you can just come and kneel on your right knee, pop a cushion underneath your knee if you need a little bit more cushioning. So step forwards with the left leg, and we're just going to go into a hip flexor stretch. So the important thing with this stretch is to tuck the tailbone underneath you, and that will open up through the front of the hip. That might be enough of a stretch for you. Or if you feel comfortable, just take your weight forwards onto that left leg, so you feel that good stretch through the front of the hip. Excellent. And then if you want to get a bit more of a stretch, just lift that right arm up and over. So tight hip flexors, again, very common in runners. As we're working into that flexion position, we're bringing that knee up every time. And also if you have got more of a sitting down based job, again, the hip flexors can get quite tight through that. So trying to get those hips nice and mobile, release off through those muscles at the front of the hip will help you with your running. So next session we're going to be focusing a little bit more on the hip and the pelvis area, so stretching the hip out and also trying to access those glute muscles that little bit more as well. Excellent. Big breath in as you reach away and breathe out and release. We're going to swap sides, so kneeling on your left knee this time, step forwards with the right leg, tuck the tailbone underneath you to open up through that left hip, and then you can take your weight forwards onto your right knee and then reach the left arm up and over. Feel that good stretch. Again, does one side feel a little bit tighter than the other? An area that you might want to work on is, as much as it's good to get our muscles strong, we also need to get that good flexibility out of the muscles too. Excellent. Well done. Just big breath in as you reach away and then breathing out and releasing. Just coming up into standing for me, we're just going to stand with our feet underneath our hips and just do some nice big shoulder rolls. And then when you're ready, just settle those shoulders in the centre, take a big breath in as you breathe out. Tuck your chin down, slowly releasing down. Just one vertebra at a time, come all the way down to where you feel comfortable. Take a big breath in at the bottom As you breathe out, tuck that tailbone underneath you, slowly put the weight back through the spine, and then lastly, just coming up with your head and neck. Excellent, well done guys. So that was your first session for your Pilates sessions for Runderwear. So I hope you enjoyed that. Please do feel free just to contact me. You can just drop any comments in the box below. But otherwise, I will look forward to seeing you for the next session. Next session is going to be hip and pelvic area, working on mobility, working on trying to get these glutes fired up as well. Thanks guys.